Let's now go to Bob and Chris with some highlights from the Whale Branch Battery Creek football game. Guys?
And the first game of the year is in the books here on the WHHI Sports High School Football Series, the Beaufort Bowl. Chris Tremblay along with Bob Stevens. The game was what we thought it would be. It'd be a game on the ground. We thought we might see a little bit more scoring, but, you know, good defense by both teams. Costly turnovers in the end at the wrong time for Battery Creek really kind of ended up being the difference here.
Yeah, kind of a first game kind of game, though.
Sure.
There were some mistakes made, penalties made. Turnovers, again, as you mentioned, turned out to be the key. A huge turnover early, returned back 60 yards by Whale Branch. It set up their first quarter touchdown that gave them a 6-0 lead. Then Battery Creek comes back and ties it up on a long punt return.
90-yard punt return.
Yeah, to make it 6-6. 9-6 turned out to be the margin. That was a 31-yard field goal just before halftime. Second half, Battery Creek ended up, because they couldn't get the ball back, having to throw a little bit at the end, and neither team liked it to do that. They didn't do it very often in this one.
No, you're absolutely right. For the winning coach, Jerry Hatcher, you know, one of the concerns for him coming in was that he only had 23 dressed, and obviously some of the big guys had to go both ways. The temperature was in the 80s throughout the entire game, but they held up pretty well.
Oh, a terrific job done by them, particularly on defense. He played a goal line defense the entire second half to try to stop the I formation ground game of Battery Creek that they hadn't shown to anybody all season, or, you know, on film from last year or anything that they could get from him. So he had to adjust on the fly. Jerry Hatcher, great defensive coach, has been for years and years, said, let's go goal line. To do that, you got to use all your big guys, and you got to play them a little more than you wanted to. He wanted to get guys in and out. He had to play them both ways, and those linemen for Whale Branch really shone in that second half.
One of the questions for them on D was obviously the secondary. They had to replace the whole secondary. We knew going in it wasn't going to be much of a throwing game, but at the end, that's what kind of saved it for them, because they picked off the ball right at the end of the game, were able to run out the clock.
That finished it off, but again, it was Whale Branch's ability on offense to grind out the clock in that fourth quarter. They really never gave Battery Creek much of a chance or much field position.
Walter Wilson has to be a little disappointed behind that offensive line that they weren't able to go ahead and put more points on the board, mainly because of costly, timely turnovers.
Well, he told us before the game, they're really big, but can they move anybody? And they didn't move people as much as I'm sure he would have wanted. There's a lot of football to be played.
Sure is.
In fact, these two teams are going to see each other again in later October. It'll be fun.
It certainly should be. Next week, we have Bluffton at May River. We look forward to that one. That's all
Bluffton
from
and May
here.
River?
Bluffton and May River, the Sharks and the Bobcats, another rivalry game. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Bob and Chris, for that great report. And a big thank you to our guests, contributors, our communications manager, Latia Nelson, and production team behind the scenes, Gustavo Ratia and Tyler Patton. And most of all to you, our viewers, for watching. And that's the way it is this week in our Low Country Gem of the South. I'm Robin Zimmerman, and we'll see you next time on the Beaufort News.